down to what are you going to want to do. Now for me, the fact that I'm a stunt guitarist means that I get bored easily because that's why I like playing a lot of different styles. If I just wanted to play this style, I'll give you a perfect example. Whatever you want to think about Yngwie Malmsteen, he may be arrogant, all that kind of stuff, but what he does fantastic. He's great. He's the best at what he does. The problem is, if you listen to every one of his solos, it starts to sound the same. But he's got his bag down. He's been playing the same song for 30 years. Okay, that works for some folks. For me, that won't work. I didn't write it. But for some folks, you want to be able to play a blues thing, a jazz thing, a country thing, or whatever. So what does that necessitate? Not only a bunch of different technical approaches, but musically, you've got to understand what makes theory is theory, but you've got to know what you're going to use, what spice you're going to use for this dish and this dish. So I think someone in the beginning has to decide, okay, how far do I want to go with this? What I do with my students is I tell them, I don't want you to have any technical weaknesses. I don't want you to be held back from what you can do way on down the line. So that's why I'm real strict about technique. Because if the biggest problem I have with teaching, the biggest challenge is when someone comes to me who's already played for a while and they have bad habits, oh man. I've really only had a few students that I had success with them reverting their, changing their technique.
It's difficult once you practice something
muscle
wrong.
memory. Oh, it's, so I tell them, practice makes perfect? No, perfect practice makes perfect. You know, and you got to really stay on top of somebody. So it's unfortunate because it seems like that I end up being the policeman most of the time to stop it. No, that's wrong, you can't do it. No, hold your hand this way. Don't. I would love to never have to talk about technique, just talk about interpretation. I had one student, and all his brothers played guitar, and his dad teaches guitar. His name's Johnny. He studied classical with me. This guy did everything I told him to do, so his technique came around. And it was awesome, because he was about 17 or 18. And we'd play a classical piece, and he'd play it, and I'd say, okay, listen to this interpretation. We didn't have to talk about technique. And then it was like a master class, and he'd be sitting there and say, okay, you just hear it, you just do it. But I showed him one day about the athletic side of playing the guitar. I hope I'm not going off on a tangent now.
It's okay, we like tangents.
Yeah, so I tell my students, it's like an athlete. What do they have to do? They got to train hard. They got to, and it's not what they're doing out on the field, you know. So as a musician, there's an athletic side. So with this fellow, this classical guy, one day he comes and says, okay, Johnny, I'm going to show you. You're going to sit there for 5 minutes, you're going to watch me practice. At the end of 5 minutes, he had a blank look on his face. He goes, wow. Because of the intensity. I showed him the physical intensity. I said, do you want to practice 5 hours a day? Or do you want to practice a half an hour a day and get something accomplished? You got to get physical, you got to get intense. And most people aren't that intense about it.
Yeah, I tend to start to practice and then begin to noodle and then begin to drift, and then I've wasted 2 hours. I had a good time, but I didn't know why.
Okay, I'm going to give all you guys a real important philosophy of mine. There are 3 levels of information. Every one of you guys, if I said, what chord is that? That's a no-brainer, right? It's a C chord, you played it forever, you can pre-hear it, you wouldn't miss it. That's level 1, guys. Anything you can play and hear is in level 1. Anything you have no technical problems with. So would you ever want to practice stuff in level 1? That's not practice, that's playing. Okay, level 3. I want you to play a D-flat Superlocrian mode in 7ths in retrograde.
What's that?
What's the
what? And then I say, okay, or I say, okay, I want you to
retrograde?
In reverse. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So if I say, okay, do something, and you go to move. You know, we've all seen this when you learn a classical piece. If you're not used to playing classical, and you go to move your fingers, and all of a sudden it was as if something wasn't wired right. The wrong finger moved. You weren't even able to control the right finger. So there's a technical level 3. So level 3 is the stuff you can't do, you don't understand, you're in the dark. Then level 2 is anything that's not in those other 2 groups. So if I have a student who comes in and they say, I say, how much do you practice? They say, oh, I play a half an hour a day. So how much do you practice? So the secret, in my opinion, is that, and it's hard for adults because we got families, we got jobs, and you pick up the guitar, and what do you want to do? You want to be rewarded right away. But if you want to get better, what do you need to do? You need to stay in level 2, spend a little bit of time in level 3, because each level feeds the next level. Level 3, if you're not used to melodic minor scales, for example, you know, we got these jazz modes that come off of those, right? That's where muscle memory. You sit there and, you know, melodic minor is just a major scale with a flat 3. But what does your finger want to do? It's going to want to put the natural 3 in there. And I tell students, as soon as I show them this, I say, okay, this is going to be fun, because you're going to want to do this, but your hand's going to automatically go there. So you got to just spend time working on new information, and it just feeds the other stuff. I tell people, save level 1, the fun part, for the end of your practice. Unless you just want to have fun. And there's nothing wrong with doing that. But then there's the other part too. How often do you sit there and just pick up the guitar and just explore. Not think. And then when you come across something new, that's that freedom practicing improvising.
I was going to say an exercise that I do sometimes is, I call it free association, where I just play anything and everything and try to hit whatever progression I got going on in the background. I don't even know what key I'm in.
You're just using your ears.
I'm just trying to use my ears. If I hear a bad note, try to make it sound good and get off of it. You know, I just try to that's.
But then if you do that, you then want to be able to analyze it so you can say, all right, this is what I did, and here's how I can use it down the road. Because if you don't know your theory, I don't know, it's kind of a toss of the coin, man. You know, rolling the dice about walking a tightrope. You're going to fall a lot of times. If you're just relying on your ears, that's not going to take care of you when you're playing through some intense changes where you could easily hit a wrong note.
Right.
So, to me, theory is just a means to an end, but I think you guys know I'm really into theory. Yeah. To me, it's absolute. It's like, there it is.
It's the formula, it's the math.
It's the math of it, yeah. And I was good in math when I was a kid, but if you know it that way, then you can do whatever you want with it. Have you guys seen Dorian Dominance?
I've seen it, I have it.
Okay, so there's an example of...
Well, I haven't.
That's like
it's just a big overview of all these subsets.
it's like 3 or 4 months back ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And so what I did is I said, okay, and what I would love would be, I'm not going to do it, but the ideal thing is for you to say, okay, there's Dorian. I think I did an A Dorian, so the parents G major. So then what you ought to do is take everything that's in there and renumber it for C living, for D mixed living, for all the other things. That's to me the important thing in music, is learn something and say, how many ways can I use it?
One of the courses that you did, vertical soloing, that helped me a lot, and I haven't even, I'm about 4 sessions through many of your courses.
Well, let me ask you guys, do I give you too much?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
What you give me,
it's all there. It's all there for when you can understand it. Because when I first started listening to you, I'm like, I don't know what this man is saying. A couple years later, I go, I'm starting to understand what he's saying. It's all there. It's just you're not always ready for it.
It's like,
and hopefully, I'm giving you a lot bang for the buck.
Yeah.
When I want to buy a dictionary, I want the unabridged dictionary.
Yeah.
And if I don't need all those words, that's fine. But I want to be able to find what. That's why I like it. I like it.
Good. Okay.
When I
oh, hey, now the party starts.
when I first came found Fire,
The C word?
your cage
Okay.
was a light bulb for me. It was a light bulb in a very dark room.
Well, you see what I've done? I'm linking other things on top of it. And right now, I'm doing caging at 251. That's what the last monthly was. I don't know if it's gone out yet. So what I'm doing is it's going to be another course. And
It's not part of the weekend jazz.
No, it's the thing I just shot. So did caging with 251 progression go out yet?
Dude, I lost track of Cage, Phrygia.
Weekend jazz was last monthly, right?
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so the next month you're going to get is caging at 251.
There's her tip.
So the prerequisite is basically another cage system. But if you don't, you can sort of get through it. But it's just about laying it all out, and I do it in all 5 positions. And then also, you know how it always looks different when you go to the open position. So I take the 5 positions in the open position, 5 different cage things. So what I'm going to do, I'm shooting Thursday. What's up, man? Let me shake your hand, shake the world. How you doing?
How you doing?
Doing good,
It's
man.
good to see you.
Musician on a mission. Yeah.
That's me.
This guy's a sleeper, y'all.
And you know, this
he's
shirt is from that guitar manufacturer,
Oh,
Luna.
oh, okay.
I think they're nice guitars. I got one. Actually, I got 2. I got an electric and acoustic.
So I don't know if I answered your question, but about, you're going to see various levels, but you can overcome. I don't like for people to put limitations on themselves. I'm a real positive kind of guy.
Jane, you're right.
Well, yeah. I mean, bottom line is trying to express yourself.
I like you too.
There are so many great guitar players. How could anybody be the best? That's
sit there and
so,
see.
so ultimately, you got to
Davis
learn
likes
this stuff.
Steve
But then
Ray.
it's about being
Like
true to
you
yourself.
I didn't know. I thought I already had you on there.
You have to say.
Well, you got that was my. Now you liked my Uncle Dad page, and now you like my personal.
What I love.
Thought I already had your
So
personal
for
page,
me,
but
it's more about having a good
Sorry.
time.
I have too
than it is
many
about being
pages.
good. Like,
that must be it.
it's
That must have been it,
almost
'cause
because better you are, the
Social
more fun you
media.
have.
I got Rob Tires to like me too. I'll go find his website and buy his stuff when I.
Remember
Get on.
Great,
Maria?
isn't he?
That guy was awesome.
But here's a girl, lady, you know Maria.
Yeah.
I haven't seen her in ages. Now, we all know, guys, Maria can play the blues. She can dig in and take no prisoners.
Yeah.
She studied with me, and she studied. She's a nurse. She's a bright lady. The poor girl, there were times when she'd be sitting there just crying for a half an hour because she had all this emotional baggage. And adults have all this emotional baggage about I don't know, they've been discouraged at some point when they were younger. And those are the big hindrances people have, I think. Just do it. Just enjoy it and do it. You know?
Just do it.
That's, to me, that's the favorite, that's the most profound thing anybody ever said. Just do it. Nike was